More breaking news inputs that are coming in. There are explosions that have been reported at the Karun petrochemical complex and the nearby town of Mashahar in the Kohistan province. Now, this is Iran's primary oil and petrochemical region. Going across to Mayank, who's tracking all those details. The media in Iran has also reported, one, that there was an attack on Karg Island, and currently, with the reports emerging of how there is a petrochemical complex in Karun, which is near Mashahar in the Kohistan province, which is one of the primary oil and petrochemical regions of Iran. If there are attacks over there, what are we looking at next? How far do you think this could go on, Mayank?
Shagarika, the way the expansion of operations have taken place, what we see from the kind of number of cities, almost four cities have been reported to have been hit by the missiles, from the ballistic missiles from the Israel side. And Kharg in particular has been talked about, the way the operations have taken place on that. And now you're talking about that petrochemical facility. Now, let me get back our viewers for better understanding of the issues there, Shagarika, is that during the operations in between, when after 28th of Feb, the way Operation Roaring Lion and Epic Fury had been jointly started by US and Israel, we saw that Iran was deliberately hitting certain points just to use it as a pressure point. Are we going to see expansion of that similar kind of a tactics utilized by Iran during that time? What was that is they were also hitting the facilities in the West Asia region, and also in few cases there was water purifier points were also hit so as to put pressure on the countries there. It was actually a sort of an indirect pressure to put pressure on the US. But here what we see is actually Iran has started the operation, and which they say is actually in retaliation to the air base which was hit, Ramat David in this particular case. It was hit by the ballistic missiles of Iran. We need to wait and watch, because is it going to see a sort of a different escalation matrix? Because US, as far as US is concerned, it is still talking about restraint.
Yes.
And word ceasefire, which our colleague Shanja has already described as a tenuous, is absolutely appropriate term to be used for this, because although the term ceasefire has been utilized since right from the beginning, there had been hardcore military operations carried out in between also.
Absolutely.
So how are we? It is going to be a case study for all academicians that how mitigations are performed. And let us wait and watch, Shagarika.
Right. Saul, I want to understand, when there are ministers in Israel who, escalate the rhetoric, they harden the rhetoric, like Itamar Ben-Gvir, who has said that Tehran must burn tonight. And then we are also hearing how there are calls for restraint from the American side. In the face of all of this, we are also hearing of explosions in Karg Island in Iran. We're hearing of how there are petrochemical facilities there are also explosions there. So what is Israel's response when there are calls of restraint that are made from the American side?
Well, like I said before, the public calls that are coming out of the United States and the discussions that are in public are not necessarily what's actually happening behind the scenes. It's unfortunate for us, because we would like to know, or the public would love to know. Everyone around the world is fascinated what's happening. But really,
I apologize for interjecting, Saul, but what is your assessment of what's happening behind the scenes? Apologize for interjecting.
Sorry. Well, we can only, like I said, we can only guess. My guess is that Trump and Netanyahu, while they in public appear to be divided on what the plan is, behind the scenes they probably have a very united plan, and all the things that we're seeing in public is really just performative to throw the Iranians off. I say that only because that's what we saw in June last year, and it's what we saw in February, and we saw exactly the same pattern happen again and again. It's happened a couple of times now, also for more minor issues. They want to try and keep the Iranians off balance, because they want to be able to attack them, as they did a couple of hours ago, the Israelis did.
Okay.
They want to be able to attack them by surprise. The one thing that you want to do if you want to attack someone by surprise is not tell them you're going to attack them. You also don't want to immediately retaliate, because if you immediately retaliate, they know you're coming.
Right.
So the Israelis probably coordinated this all, although I might be wrong. No one knows. One day the books will be written and we'll find out the truth.
This is a very interesting analysis of the situation. Let me go across to Srinjoy, and then we'll decode what the situation looks like, the areas where the attacks have taken place, and the escalation, the 6 steps of the escalation, and what it has led to right now. Srinjoy, do you agree with the analysis of Saul, where he's saying that for now, while there are reports in the media of Donald Trump saying clearly that I call the shots and I will decide what happens, we are very close to a deal. The ceasefire is not really broken. These are the comments by Donald Trump. And there are analysts like Saul who believe that maybe all of this is just performative to keep Iran off guard. Do you agree with that analysis?
First of all, a lot of things are said. But what is it that's actually done? It's one thing to say a lot of things, but it's important to see what people actually do. As of today, the Americans are not involved, in a sense that they haven't now hit back again. Now, Trump has said all the things that he has. There's been a conversation with Netanyahu, a lot of unparliamentary language has been used.
Right.
All of that is done. My view is as follows. We have to see what America does. That's the first thing. The second is that, yes, there's been a cycle of fighting. The Hezbollah attack Israel, Israel attacks Lebanon, Iran attacks Israel, Israel attacks Iran, all of that is done. Now that's one cycle. The Americans have not been involved in the first cycle. Now there are only 2 options now. Will there be a second cycle?
Okay.
If there is a second cycle, you would expect the Americans and the Israelis to do something.
Right.
If there is a second cycle. If there isn't, then clearly the Americans want another crack at a ceasefire.
Right. So is there a deal which is alive as claimed by Donald Trump, or, you know, the pictures that are coming out from West Asia back on the edge, are we back to square one? Let's describe what has happened. It started with this missile retaliation of Iran. Why? Because Iran said that Israel crossed the red line. Beirut has become the flashpoint again. In Iraq, the airspace has been closed. Jordan too, security alerts were issued. In Lebanon, it was like we told you, there was the strike that took place in Beirut, and in Israel, after the retaliation, nationwide restrictions have been imposed, and in Gaza too, the crossings have been closed. So for now, the entire region is looking like this, but there's more breaking news coming in, and this time we're getting you inputs from the message sent